Welcome to the Deep Dive. We've got some fascinating material from a listener today detailing a highly aggressive, high-stakes philosophy for job searching.
It really is. It treats the entire process not as a polite search, but more like a controlled capture of an opportunity.
And at the heart of it, this philosophy sees the interview as the only thing that truly counts. Everything else is just noise.
Exactly. We're looking at a system that views the traditional terrain, that classifies job boards, job fairs, all that passive internet searching, as what the source material calls a mirage.
A mirage. Why that word?
Because those systems, they're set up to screen people out, not to bring the best people in. So the mission for us today is to unpack this job jungle reality. It's a reality where successful people don't wait for openings. They actively create their own entry points. And the most interesting part is how the entire interview process is presented as highly predictable and highly controllable.
I really like that focus on control. I think that's what a lot of people feel they're missing.
Absolutely.
So we're going to explore how to transform that paralyzing sense of FEAR, false evidence appearing real.
Right. And turn it into FUEL, finding unlimited employment leads.
This is the blueprint for turning that passive seeking into active job getting. We're going straight into the heart of the instant interview philosophy, starting with what seems to be a necessary philosophical shift to become a lifetime job getter.
That's a perfect place to start because the foundational shift is just accepting the cold, hard reality of the job jungle.
Which is?
The interview is almost all that counts. The entire premise here is that job hunting is fundamentally a psychological and theatrical exercise.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you understand the roles, the offerer, who's the person with the power to hire, and the job seeker, you realize that while the faces and the places change, the structure of the event itself is predictable. And if it's predictable,
then it's controllable.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of predictability.
Okay.
Because we're all conditioned to see a job opening as this tangible thing, right? A published vacancy that needs to be filled. But this source material seems to radically challenge that.
Huh.
It argues that successful people don't wait for an opening at all.
They create it. That's precisely the point. They jump in, often without a fully defined role, and they change what they do as they go along until they become indispensable.
I like that metaphor of the job jungle. It suggests the terrain is always shifting.
It is. And if you wait for a clearly defined, safe path to appear, you're going to starve. You have to be willing to carve your own trail.
But doesn't this aggressive persuasion, this kind of hunter mentality, doesn't that risk alienating, say, a traditional HR department? Or smaller companies that are really rigid about procedure? How do you balance this genie approach with professional norms?
That's the core tension, and the material addresses it head-on by shifting the metric of success. The goal is active persuasion.
Persuasion, not just motivation.
Right. It's about steering the offerer toward a decision that's favorable to you. It's the opposite of passive motivation, where you just, you watch the process unfold and hope for a callback.
So when you're persuading, you're the one setting the tempo.
You are. When you're just waiting, you're lost in the underbrush, you're subject to whatever they decide. Yeah. The philosophy here argues that by targeting the manager, the profit center, and bypassing HR, the cost center, you effectively neutralize the bureaucracy.
And central to this whole idea of self-creation is dismantling what the source calls the myth of experience.
Ah, yes, the great excuse.
How can you get experience if you don't have experience?
Oh.
We're all programmed to believe that only specific job tenure matters.
And it's labeled as a totally wrong-headed excuse. Because the real currency isn't just job tenure, it's generic life experience.
So things like common sense, work ethic.
Exactly. The values you live by, personal discipline. The philosophy makes this really startling claim that you have exactly the same amount of experience as anyone else your age.
Wow.
Think about it. If you've managed a complex household budget or run a nonprofit committee or even just successfully budgeted a college semester, those are all demonstrations of discipline, of management, of financial acumen.
And those skills translate directly.
They do.
Okay, so if that generic experience is what really matters, then you need a way to communicate it instantly and with a lot of confidence. Which I think brings us to the generic genie script.
Yes. This is a critical piece. It's a memorized monologue that has to be ready for instant, confident recitation the moment you get a face-to-face opportunity.
Whether that's a planned interview or one you just created on the spot.
Correct. And it's designed to be used in the first few minutes to just completely neutralize the offerer's natural skepticism.
So how is it structured? It sounds like it needs to be high impact, but also really brief.
It is. It's all about framing your past in terms of transferable assets, not just job descriptions. You start by saying you can assist in many ways.
Yeah.
Then you hit 4 core areas really quickly.
Okay, what are they?
First, how your college training or any similar intense structured effort taught you discipline and focus. Second, how you excelled in working with others. Third, how you demonstrably increased the bottom line or saved resources at your last post. And fourth, how you were designated a key employee, a critical asset.
And the final sentence is the masterstroke, isn't it? That's the only part you ad-lib.
That's where you grant the offerer one wish.
Right.
Exactly. You finish by focusing on what you perceive they need, maybe based on a quick scan of their office or something you overheard. You say, so I can help you here at company name by, and then you insert a specific tangible way to help, like by cleaning up the outstanding accounts or by streamlining the inventory process.
So that structure instantly interviews you. It bypasses the whole traditional dance.
It does, and it forces the offerer to see you as a solution, not as a problem to be readied.
It's the ultimate short circuit. It takes away the need for all those long, tedious explanations of past roles and just forces the focus onto immediate value add, Genie style.
Mm-hmm. Now, moving from that philosophy of self-presentation to the material tools, let's talk about the resume.
Okay.
According to this methodology, the resume isn't a historical document for background information. Its sole purpose is to be a front-end, gotta-have-him device. It's meant to generate interviews. It's an impulse buy.
So the resume's value is purely transactional. Its worth is only determined by whether it generates those instant interviews.
Yes.
And to do that, the formatting rules, these do-5 elements, they're intentionally designed to be generic enough to pique interest, but also focused enough to sell an immediate meeting.
You have to leave enough out so they must talk to you to fill in the blanks. The rules are strict, and they're all designed for maximum readability and survival in that initial paper shuffling phase.
Okay, so what are the big ones?
First, limit it to 1, maybe 2 pages. The source says studies show readership drops by 80% with every additional page. The offer is busy. You have to respect their time.
Right.
Second, use a 10-point minimum font. 12-point is preferred. Black ink on white or ivory paper.
Why so specific on the colors?
Because gray, for instance, is notoriously difficult to photocopy cleanly, and a poor copy quality can kill a resume instantly. It sounds small, but it matters.
And the physical constraints are crucial too. You mentioned the margins specifically.
Yes, you must maintain a precise 1-inch border around the entire document. This is psychological bait.
8. How so?
It creates this nice, ample white space for the offerer to write comments, notes, reminders to call you. If they start writing on your resume, they're engaging with you. It makes it much more likely your document survives that first screening pile.
That's clever. And use bullets sparingly.
Yeah, very sparingly. Only for 3 or 4 truly important accomplishments, not for listing every single duty you ever performed.
Okay, now for the critical don'ts. These seem to be mostly about eliminating pre-screening risks. The first one is, do not use the word resume itself.
That's right. The critique we got noted we didn't explain the rationale. The thinking is that HR types, who are often tasked with screening out generic applications, sometimes use that word itself as a negative keyword to filter documents.
So it just screams generic job seeker.
It does. Also, no handwriting updates, ever. No vital statistics, sex, height, weight, marital status, no photograph. These are all just instant screening opportunities for offerers who are looking for any reason to toss you out.
And the most important don't seems to be salary information.
Never. Under any circumstances. Do not include salary information, not current, not desired, not past.
Why so absolute?
Because missing the offerer's target amount by even a tiny margin is a 100% probability of being screened out. You negotiate salary face-to-face once they are persuaded of your value. If you put a number down, you limit your bargaining power and you give them an easy out before you've even had a chance.
You also have to control the references.
Absolutely. You only state, personal and professional references are available upon request. That's it. This prevents offers from trying to wiggle out of an interview by calling your references first. You control the funnel.
They only get the names after you've secured the face-to-face.
And made your pitch. This just reinforces the idea that the resume is a pass to get in, not the main event.
This all sounds very analog, very paper-based. But the next step, do 6. That acknowledges the digital reality. Keyword indexing.
That's right. Applicant tracking systems, ATSs, are the silent gatekeepers. They're used by almost every major employer, and keywords control the resume's destiny.
So whether it's a hard copy that gets scanned or something you submit online, a computer is combing it for relevance first.
And if you fail that keyword test, your resume is instantly discarded. A human being may never even see it.
So you have to plan for the machine, not just the human reader. What categories of keywords are essential?
The scanner is looking for precise matches. You need to include keywords covering your attributes, like disciplined or strategic thinker, specific accomplishments, names of colleges, software languages,
Job title, too.
all the variants of job titles. If they say engineering administrator, you absolutely must have engineering administration on your resume, even if your official title was just engineer. Locations, even the names of competitors or companies known for good training.
So if your resume just says sales rep, but the ad specifies outside sales representative, you might fail the scan.
You might. You have to think of every possible variant of every term used in your industry.
Okay, so once the resume is optimized for both human impulse and machine filtering, we move to the correspondence that carries it, the better letter or cover letter.
Do 8. And it should act purely as a high-impact ad for your resume. Its only job is to entice the offerer to read more.
So it's not just to accompany the resume, it's to create this overwhelming impulse to read on. The source material says it should sound like someone at a newsstand yelling, "Extra, extra, read all about the genie."
I love that line. Yeah, you avoid all those canned intros. You have to personalize the hook so the offerer feels like you're writing just to them. Reference a specific industry trend, a recent company success, something.
It has to sell the immediate concept of why talk to me now.
Exactly. But the real power is Do 9, the broadcast letter. This is basically the resume, but it's free of the rigid format and wordiness. It's described as having high bandwidth, it's fast, powerful, and it transmits a clear signal that bypasses that whole bureaucratic maze.
And the key to bypassing that maze is targeting managers directly, not HR.
That's the job jungle reality. The source is very clear. HR is a filter. Managers are the decision makers who actually feel the pain of a vacancy.
Right.
So you target the line manager, the department head, the person who will actually benefit from your value. And you don't guess who that is. You Google the type of business and the area, say, specialty glass manufacturers, Denver.
And then you call.
You call the company switchboard, you explain you have an urgent piece of business correspondence, and you get the exact contact details. Full first name, middle initial, and the exact title. Is it sales manager, manager of sales, or director of sales?
That precision alone signals professionalism.
It immediately separates the genie from the passive job seeker. And the physical presentation of this broadcast letter is also highly specific.
Letterhead.
Use a pre-printed or self-created letterhead with no abbreviations except the middle initial. It has to look like important business correspondence, not a mass mailer.
And there's a clever little detail about your address.
Yes, if you live in an apartment, you always address it as unit. This subtly implies home ownership and stability. It projects a successful, grounded persona.
And finally, the content is just one page, easy to read, and it must contain a clear, non-negotiable advance notice of follow-up.
Yes, that is the persuasive anchor. Something like, I will call you within the next week to arrange an appointment. This transforms the interaction. You're not asking for permission. You're arranging a known event. It forces the action onto their calendar.
They mentally prepare for your call.
They do.
We've optimized the materials. Now we move to what sounds like pure, aggressive execution. Do. Appearing magically like a genie.
Yeah.
This isn't about mailing things. This is about generating face-to-face interviews instantly.
Through proactive presence. And there are 6 core reasons why this action is prioritized over everything else.
No.
Doing this cold market attack instantly. 1, it gets you into an interview. 2, it exercises you, gets your endorphins flowing, eliminates mental stagnation. 3, it trains you to answer predictable questions naturally so nervousness becomes rote confidence.
Right.
4, it enables you to own the dialogue because you initiated it. 5, it dramatically boosts your self-confidence. And 6, it makes all the other do's in the system more effective because you've built momentum.
This active approach is the engine for converting that FEAR into FUEL. But you can't just wander around aimlessly. You need specific tools, operational discipline, starting with business cards.
Simple, readable business cards, black on white, at least 1,000 of them. You need to be able to scatter them like confetti. And 2 filing boxes for the cards you collect. 1 labeled appointments and 1 revisits. An immediate tracking system.
The source material is fascinatingly detailed about the physical execution, especially this pocket management system.
Hmm.
This isn't just about being neat, it's about minimizing internal distraction.
And maximizing focus during that crucial 5-minute encounter, it's absolutely essential. Every item has a designated, non-negotiable location to ensure seamless flow and rapid access.
So business cards in the right front pocket.
A quality ballpoint pen in the left front pocket, breath mints in your right back pocket ready for deployment, keys and wallet in other secure pockets.
Right.
And the critical directive, no cell phone, put it away, turn it off, leave it in the car. It is the worst possible distraction. It screams, I am available to someone else. And it just fractures your focus on the offerer.
This sounds like preparing for a military operation. So where do you launch this operation?
You go where offerers are found. Large office buildings, industrial parks, upscale shopping centers, any place where managers converge. The encounter is direct. If the offerer isn't around or is busy, you execute the critical gatekeeper protocol.
You smile, reach into your pocket, and hand one card to the gatekeeper.
And the language you use here is highly specific, designed to imply you're already a person of consequence.
Right, it's all framed in professional terms.
You ask for a call immediately. That's the major word, implying urgency. And you say, your voicemail will be on. That's the big phrase. If you're not in the office, that's the even bigger phrase.
So you never say you're out job hunting.
Never. You are a busy professional whose calendar just happens to have a temporary opening. This subtle language shifts the gatekeeper's perception of you from a desperate applicant to a peer.
Okay, so once you're face-to-face, the actual opening of the conversation is the magic 4 hello. And this is backed by behavioral psychology pacing. Why 4 steps? And why the nonsense question?
The psychology is all about pattern disruption. A newbie job seeker will ask for the sale way too soon, and the offerer instantly raises their defenses. The magic 4 hello takes 4 brief steps, the 4 hellos, to ease the offerer into a relaxed state before you pitch.
And that initial nonsense question, did you marry into the Bloomingdale family?
Or, are you a lifer at Consolidated? It's designed to be so unexpected and so innocuous that the offerer's brain short-circuits its standard defenses. They chuckle, they relax, and the psychological lock-in begins. It's the smile combined with the unexpectedness that works the magic.
So you break the tension, establish rapport, and then you launch the genie script. And the closing, it's meant to be light and fast.
Around 5 minutes, no more than 15, or they've lost that spontaneous urge to hire you. If it's successful, you have to secure the offerer's written commitment to the next step.
You ask them to write down their details.
Full contact details, name, exact title, address, phone, website. Ideally on the back of their card or a piece of paper. This handwritten info goes straight into your left back pocket. If she writes it down, she's already invested time and effort in you. You're practically sharing an office already.
This relentless, active approach, it requires incredible physical and mental endurance. You can't launch a dozen of these high-pressure interviews on coffee and donuts.
No, you can't.
Which leads us to the almost legendary magic potion. 2. Designed to fortify the body and mind, give you sustained energy and mental acuity.
The philosophy is simple. You cannot outperform the competition if you are running on inferior fuel. If doing things by the box, like eating processed fast food, worked, job seekers would be working, not crashing from blood sugar spikes.
So this potion is high-octane, nutritionally balanced fuel.
It's designed to prevent that rapid blood sugar spike and crash that's associated with the typical job hunt diet. That's what causes sluggishness, irritability, poor decision-making.
Let's get into the specific ingredients and the science behind this sustained release.
Okay, for staying power, you start with protein powder, whey or soy. This provides muscle fuel and appetite control. Then, crucially, uncooked oatmeal, just dry oat flakes.
Why uncooked?
It's high-fiber, rib-sticking nourishment. It absorbs the liquid ingredients and acts as a natural timed-release vitamin, slowing down the digestion of the sugars.
And for natural energy boosters, we have raisins and a frozen banana.
The banana is key. It contains all 3 natural sugars, sucrose, fructose, and glucose, which provides an immediate but buffered energy boost. Then almond butter for healthy fat and essential minerals like magnesium and zinc, which increases the potion's staying power.
And the caffeine kick. It's not about quick jitters, it's about sustained alertness, which is why instant coffee is blended into the mixture.
Exactly. The instant coffee provides the caffeine boost for quicker neuron firing, mood enhancement, but critically, drinking it within the thick potion buffers the acid and drastically reduces the caffeine spiking. You get a smooth, sustained release of alertness instead of a jarring peak and a painful crash.
And then there's pudding mix for flavor.
Sugar-free, fat-free pudding mix like Blackberry Fusion for flavor, protein, and bulk.
And now for the true wizard's touch, the secret ingredients, which are both practical and a little whimsical.
Secret ingredient X is nutmeg. The source material frames this traditionally. It's a classic spice used to attract happiness and money.
Which, in job jungle terms, means instant interviews.
Exactly, just a pinch. And secret ingredient Y is baking soda. This is the wizardly clever part. A half teaspoon cuts the acid in the coffee and, critically, offsets its diuretic effect.
It reduces the urgency to find a restroom.
It does. It allows you to stay focused on the hunt, not on physical discomfort. You avoid the dreaded job seeker shuffle.
The preparation itself is an incantation, right?
Freeze the bananas the night before, blend everything, add the nutmeg and baking soda last, and then you say the incantation. 16 interviews today. It sets the intention for the day. It fuels the attitude, not just the body.
The genie is now fully optimized and fueled, but the presentation extends beyond appearance and materials. We need to focus on how you sound, controlling your voice.
Do 40. This is especially important in those high-stakes moments.
Right. The source says the average job seeker speaks at about 145 words per minute. But if you're up over 200, you're just conveying anxiety.
The offerer subconsciously interprets that high speed as desperation or nervousness, which leads to unhiring.
So you have to deliberately vary the rate.
You pause for emphasis. You use a measured pace for key facts. You avoid gasping for breath or using a flat, dull monotone. Volume control is also essential. You should use a lower volume for unimportant words like a, an, the, but in or with.
You drop the volume slightly on the fillers to make the key nouns and verbs pop.
Your voice conveys more about your underlying feelings in the first moments than all the words that follow.
This focus on instantaneous connection leads us directly to reading the offer like a book. Do 41. The goal here is a rapid psychological lock-in.
You're instinctively looking for similarities because people hire people who remind them of themselves. If she instantly sees similarities in your pace, formality, priorities, her brain flashes go and the lock-in occurs.
The source material offers a rapid-fire method for classifying offers into 3 distinct types.
Often visible within a few seconds, just by glancing at their dress, accessories, or office.
Let's start with type 1, the outgoing socializer.
These are the energetic, friendly, self-assured people. You look for flamboyant clothes, lots of jewelry, personalized accessories. Their offices are cluttered, desks disorganized, filled with family photos and personal mementos. They're often late for meetings.
And the strategy?
They talk a lot, so your strategy is to be upbeat, very friendly, follow the genie format, and most importantly, be a very active, engaging listener. You can be funny, enjoy the ride, but don't monopolize the conversation.
Then we have type 2, the reserved offer.
These individuals are less gregarious. They rely heavily on objective, verifiable criteria. Their offices are often sterile, very clean, neat, linear. They might have abstract or linear art, but few personal items.
So your strategy is the opposite of type 1.
Completely. Be polite, be extremely concise, and focus relentlessly on objective, quantifiable criteria. Your past metrics, specific sales figures, cost-saving achievements.
And finally, type 3, the analytical offerer.
These are often your technical, administrative, or highly specialized managers. They think a lot, they process information deeply. The approach here is highly tactical. You ask more questions than you answer.
Why?
Because it makes you sound knowledgeable and it encourages them to explain their pain points. The clinchers are focused on how you would improve their current business processes, not just what you would do in the role. For example, I can tell you're spending too much time tracking these figures. I'll contact the software vendor and work with the rep on updating the spreadsheet printouts.
If you can access their office when they're out, you already know how to handle the follow-up call. You align your strategy perfectly.
Precisely.
Now that we've optimized the job seeker's physical presence and mental approach, we need to optimize lead generation. And we start low-tech. Do 21, mining the yellow pages, is emphasized as an instant interview goldmine.
It really is. In a world of digital overload, this seems so counterintuitive.
It does. Why is this hard copy, low-tech approach emphasized so much?
Because it offers immediate, rapid results compared to the endless scrolling and sifting required by the internet. A Yellow Pages directory is an organized list of profit centers. You can look, call, write notes in the margins, and quickly build a diverse list of offerers.
You find similar businesses under the field heading you want.
Let's say petroleum distribution. You immediately have 50 targets who might all be hiring. The sheer speed of generating leads is just unmatched.
Next, we move to City Hall, 276, for some real-time intelligence gathering.
This is basically insider trading for the job seeker. You start with the business license department. Business licenses are public records. You asked about new businesses filed in the past week or where the list of filings is posted. They see everyone who's opening, changing names, or moving.
A huge source of pre-vetted, actively expanding businesses.
Exactly. Then you go to the building inspection department.
Again, why this specific department?
Inspectors are disciplined and schedule-driven. You can set your watch by their routine. They're usually back from the rounds in the afternoon. If you're looking for interviews with any building-based business contracting, commercial real estate logistics, this is an excellent lead source.
So you ask them.
Which projects are about to break ground? That indicates an imminent need for hiring.
And finally, Parks and Recreation. This sounds like the least likely place to find executive leads.
But it's highly effective because it's so informal. Parks and Rec often manages community facilities and events. They have flyers and calendars for company picnics, trade expos, local business meetings.
You just take the information.
You take the information and you ask a friendly employee, who do you know that's looking for someone to help with any of these big corporate events? You're using their network for high-quality information.
Okay, that makes sense. So next up are the Job Jungle Scouts. The intelligence network people who see and hear everything but aren't conventionally thought of as gatekeepers.
We start with security guards. They're often hired by contractors that get rotated, so they develop great knowledge of interviewing activity and tenant turnover in the entire building complex. But you shouldn't approach the uniform directly.
Right. You go to the source, the security office.
You're in the job jungle war room now. You find the commanding officer, who is sometimes the closet offerer.
What's a closet offerer?
It's the person who secretly has power over hiring decisions, or who can serve as an unexpected professional reference. When you give the CO your card, you must ask for their card and show respect. They earn their stripes by telling you what they know. You can walk out with names of tenants, floors, and suite numbers for instant interviews.
Do we have parking attendants?
They know the VIPs, the very interviewing persons by sight and by vehicle. They know hiring trends, openings, possibilities, just from watching everyone drive in and out daily.
And the approach is similar to the CO.
Respect, card exchange, clear, targeted questions.
What about office lunch counters?
They're usually run by owner-operators who know everyone's routine, title, and mood. Buying any small item, a cup of coffee, a pastry, is all you need to get high-quality building offer information. You buy something small on your weekly visit and you ask general questions. Who seems the busiest lately? Or who's expanding their lunch orders?
And the final scout. Delivery routes.
Your roving suppliers, sandwich, tool, surgical, office supply, they see every office, every elevator, every hallway. They're your mobile intelligence network. You find their routes and you just instant interview along the way.
Wow.
Or even better, many mobile eating services will let you design your own route if you ask. If food can't get you into every door, start a route of your own as a mobile eating stopper. Instant interviewing at every stop. It's an unconventional path right to the offerer's door.
So unconventional. Which brings us to the ultimate networking, job gyms and trade shows. The job gym strategy, Do 45, is targeting upscale gym chains where executives exercise.
But you have to be rigid about the timing. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. rush hour, Monday through Friday.
You're not there primarily to exercise. You're there to instant. But there are very specific rules, including staggering your locker location. Why the staggering?
Because gym members are highly territorial. You can't launch the genie routine if you see the same person repeatedly. You'll lose your mystique and you'll just become workout buddies.
Right.
You head for high visibility areas where people are captive, like the free weights, resistance machines, steam room, or sauna. You take the magic potion after your workout, not before, to sustain energy for the day's encounters.
And you cultivate the morning crew.
The staff and trainers, they know everyone and can feel good about helping you meet successful executives. But get out by 9 a.m. for sure before the routine desk workers arrive.
Moving on to high-stakes networking. Attacking conventions, Do 31. These are dense pockets of offers. How do you even get access to an expensive industry event?
You volunteer. Convention revenue is razor thin, so free. Passionate help is gold. You offer to help in exchange for travel, a small room, fast food expenses. You sell your passion for service and your expertise. That ticket is your ticket to nirvana, an endless opportunity for the genie routine.
Once you're inside, who is the primary target? I love this jargon term. Muckety-mucks.
Muckety-mucks. They're defined as the high-ranking individuals who have the power and the disposition to hire quickly and, crucially, won't resist doing so. You focus on vendors and speakers.
And the speakers are classified into 3 types.
Headliners, the big arena acts who need sales and security help. Keynoters, the trade show draws who are peddling wares and services. And then everyone else, industry trainers or consultants. These are a treasure trove of leads because they know everyone who's hiring.
The encounter rules are rigid. The 10 convention commandments. Let's run through the essential steps for that 5-minute encounter.
It should take around 5 minutes, never more than 15. First, you pick a muckety-muck. Second, use a genuine personal compliment as an opener. That was an insightful point you made about Q3 growth. Third, offer assistance if possible. Fourth, show knowledge of their business. Fifth, ask intelligent, nice questions about their presentation. Sixth, introduce yourself with the magic 4, hello.
And the 7th commandment is crucial for psychological lock-in.
You parrot the offerer's words. If they keep using the phrase client success, you immediately couple it with your own words. You use phrases like, I understand how my drive for client success aligns with your mission. 8th, give and get a card. 9th, nurse a commitment for the next contact. And 10th, show appreciation, and then do not be seen again that day.
That last one, jolt and bolt, seems almost rude. You can't risk seeing the CEO of Happy Health again, even if you're still in the tent. What's the psychological reasoning behind that?
Because the magic is broken if you linger. The offer needs the memory of an instantaneous, magnetic, high-value encounter. Lingering transitions you from a high-impact, rare professional to just another attendee trying to milk 5 more minutes of conversation.
You want the memory of that magnetic encounter to lead to the urgent phone call tomorrow.
You establish value, you secure the commitment, and you vanish.
All right, let's move into our last section. Advanced control. Bossing the boss and controlling negotiations.
And this section proves that the job jungle methods aren't just for external job seekers. The greatest benefit of JOB, EXPANSION, do for, is maintaining absolute job security while increasing your job scope and wage up to 40%.
So this means identifying and selling new, valuable duties that aren't technically in your job description.
Yeah.
How do you isolate those expandable components?
You isolate 4 expandable job components, each worth about 10% of that potential wage expansion. The goal is to think of your job as a profit center, not a cost center.
For example,
If you're a cost estimator, you identify areas where you can add value. Not just estimating, but contract negotiation, quality monitoring of vendors, delivery timeliness assurance, maybe even targeted marketing assistance for new products. You build a case showing how these duties increase the bottom line rather than just shifting paperwork.
this involves navigating internal politics too, especially if you have a resistant VP or an empire builder guarding their turf.
Yes, you have to do your homework first. Before you approach your boss, you should meet with outside subcontractors or consultants to get proposals. This gives you powerful third-party validation that the work you're proposing is legitimate and valuable.
Then you go to your direct supervisor.
And you explain how the expansion will free up other departments, which neutralizes potential political opposition. You're professional. You're showing initiative, not a hidden agenda for a pay raise.
The source material is extremely clear when it comes to internal mobility, do 43 say, moving from buyer to contract administrator. The rule is absolute. Do not go over the boss's head.
That risks job loss, often within 6 months because you destroy the chain of command.
So the only viable high-stakes route is option 3, bossing the boss. Let's walk through this dialogue because it requires incredible resolve. When you first propose the internal move, the supervisor is likely to say something like, let's just forget we had this discussion.
And your required response is a polite but firm rejection of that idea. You must state, I just won't do that.
You use won't, not can't.
Exactly. You're asserting control over your career direction. You refuse to drop the discussion. You need leverage to neutralize the boss's insecurity.
And what's the leverage? It can't just be a threat.
The leverage is making the move beneficial to them. You ask the boss to recommend you, and then you immediately offer to draft the recommendation letter yourself, saving them time.
You make it easy for them.
You promise to help find and train your replacement. You promise to babysit key accounts during the transition. And finally, you promise to say nice things about him to management. You neutralize their insecurity by making the move seem like their idea and beneficial to their career, not a personal threat.
And if the job expansion needs a title change like moving from cost estimator to development analyst, You write the job description yourself immediately.
That's right. You offer to write the description on your own time. You say, no need to take company time. It's a classic Genie move. Providing a solution instantly and professionally, ensuring the title and responsibilities reflect the new 40% value you've created.
Whether it's external or internal, the Genie technique demands conversational control. Do 92, controlling the offerer like a robot. This is the conversational masterstroke.
The core psychological insight is that questioning properly controls offers, especially when that questioning forces a subtle agreement.
And the specific tools for this are contracted words ending in int, like aren't, can't, wouldn't. These contractions are used to push 4 instant buttons that subtly force compliance. What's the psychology here?
The in contraction turns a statement into a question that carries an implicit expectation of agreement. When you ask, can't you see this works? You're forcing the offerer to agree that, yes, they can see it. It's not an open-ended question that allows them to waffle.
It's exploiting the psychological principle of forced compliance on small points.
Which makes major compliance easier.
Let's demonstrate button 1. Beginning a sentence.
This is used to introduce an idea as a fact. For example, can't you get the project back on schedule with someone like me around? Or haven't you looked for anyone to help stabilize the budget before now? You're framing the situation as already existing and just awaiting your arrival.
Button 2, connecting a sentence.
This turns a statement of fact into an immediate action query. So, since you suspect the staff is overworked, doesn't it make sense to hire me immediately? Or, given the upcoming product launch deadline, wouldn't it be wise to bring in a specialist?
Button 3, ending a sentence.
This confirms their agreement right at the close of the idea. You really can retain your employees using my suggested incentives, catch you. Or, we'd be able to get the job done right away, wouldn't we? It cements the agreement before they have time to reconsider.
And button 4, turning a statement into a question, forcing verification.
You can verify my expertise with my supervisor, won't you? This immediately validates your past performance and pressures the offerer to confirm they'll take the next step. By practicing these, pushing these 4 buttons becomes as automatic as operating a TV remote.
We've established control, but sometimes the offer is still stalling. When you sense hesitation, which the source says should be within less than 15 minutes, you use a job jungle jolt.
These are high-voltage super shocks intended to dislodge that stuck offer. This is the aggressive closing phase. You have to leverage scarcity and urgency.
For instance, mentioning another interview.
You say, I've got to get going, I have another appointment scheduled, and I need to know your intentions now. Are you going to make me an offer? It's a direct challenge, leveraging their fear of loss.
Or you impose a non-negotiable deadline.
I am actively making decisions this week. Please let me know whether you'll be making an offer by the close of business Friday.
It forces a decision and moves the offer out of that indefinite contemplation.
And if you are highly confident in your value, you can set a high expectation.
Demand 15% more than your current salary plus a company car. This only makes sense if you know they're desperate, but it also signals high value. Or you can use the most direct challenge of all. You just lob, I know we have a great match here and I'm ready to start. Why haven't you made me an offer?
And then just silence.
Silence is golden. Let the offer fill that void with their reason, which you can then immediately counter. Another powerful technique is the takeaway close, which uses the presumptive assumption of hiring.
That's where you place yourself in the role and you force them to choose your first task. If the offer needs a catalog and brochure redone, you ask, I can either redo the product catalog or redesign the product brochure. Which of those 2 would you like me to prioritize first? You place yourself on the job and make them choose your task, which means they accept the premise that you're hired.
And finally, something that traditional job seekers are just too uptight to do. Admiring something in the office.
It's the tension breaker. You just admire, gee, that's a beautiful bookcase, or your desk layout fits your personality so organized. It's an unexpected, genuine compliment that breaks the tension, enhances your magnetic persona, and shows you're a composed, observant colleague, not just a tense candidate.
And the key rule remains, jolt, then bolt. Seal the deal in less than 15 minutes.
What stands out here, really, is how consistently this methodology demands that the job seeker assumes total control. From the materials they generate, which are designed to bypass traditional screening, to the relentless energy they project, thanks to the magic potion, to the very structure of the conversation.
Using aggressive techniques like those contracted words.
Yeah. It's all about being active, not passive, and treating every single interaction as an instantaneous selling opportunity where you create value. You don't beg for it.
Absolutely. We saw specific, actionable steps for everything. How to structure a resume that screens "interview me" by withholding key information, the exact recipe for the magic potion, how to use Job Jungle Scouts at City Hall to find leads others miss. The core message is clear. If you want a radically different result, you have to do something radically different, something unconventional, even disruptive.
And that active approach, it even extends to improving your current role, using job expansion strategies and bossing the boss. It transforms the idea of finding a job into creating a profitable role where you become an indispensable profit center.
It embraces the reality that the person hired rarely resembles the person described in the wish list.
And that the job itself isn't some tangible entity, but a role created by an indispensable person.
So if you understand that the job itself is not some rigid, tangible thing, and that the offerer is looking for a solution, not a perfect resume match, then the only spear you have to fear is FEAR, false evidence appearing real. Now that you know exactly how much the passive system is designed to screen you out, what is the boldest, most unconventional place you could appear like a genie this week?